everyone. It's me, Makiba, your sister in Christ. And today we'll talk about death by religion. So, in the first part, I spoke about some of the things that I was able to do in the New Age practices and how I was also tormented and how God gave me his peace and gave me a way of hope. Now, in this part is a very touching area for me. And this part will also be sensitive for my family members who are watching. And I am only sharing this video as to warn people about the dangers of dabbling in the occult and how it can become detrimental. So, on December the 26th of the year 2022, my father decided to take his own life. He shot himself. And this is something that has been very hard for me to deal with, because he was the last parent I had alive. And I always said to him, Dad, never do something like this, because you're all I have as a parent. And you know how much this would devastate me. And he always promised me, your daddy will never do anything like that to hurt him, to hurt you, and how I love you. But my dad, he never listened to me. I would pray for him. I would tell him about Christ. I would tell him what he's doing is destroying him. But he never listened. Instead, he went deeper and deeper into the occult, practicing more and more witchcraft. My dad believed in reincarnation. And so when he killed himself, he believed that once he died, he will come back again in a younger form. But he was deceived by religion, because there's no coming back in another form when you have lived your life for the devil and you have taken your own life. I told him that hell is real. And I remember in my front room, I had a conversation with him. I said, Dad, I know you're against my belief, and I'm not trying to force it on you, but I'm telling you, you keep telling me, to come over to your side, to come back to your side. But at the end of the day, what if I am right and you are wrong? Because if I am wrong, there's no consequences for me, because then I would just have lived a life being a person with integrity. But if I am right, then you have everything to lose, because you lived your life not being the best person. You lived your life doing every single thing that God is against and God hates. And then there is hell. And he paused for a second. I could see fright in his face. And he said, you really give me something to think about. And I thought I was getting somewhere. He even came by me to download the Bible on his phone so he could read, only to pretend that he was reading it to go home to delete it. He was opening up himself and summoning, channeling, and inviting demons into his body and into his home. He had bought bottles with spirits buried all over in the yard. He was addicted to, alcohol, weed, and pornography. And this was his form of delight. He enjoyed scamming people, cussing people out. He enjoyed everything that was evil. And I would just ask him, Dad, please. I would go by his home and I would just beg him, Dad, please. And I started to see his mental health started to deteriorate. Until one day I went by him and he said to me, I've been meaning to tell you something. I said, what, Dad? He said, me and your mom back together again now. I'm like, what? My mom died when I was 9 years old. He said, yes, she finally crossed over to the other side because she made a promise that when she died, she would come back and tell me what it's like. And she came back. And he said they're back into a relationship. It's just that they can't have a sexual one. And at that moment, I did not know what to do because my father was a very stubborn man. And even when I tried to get him help, he resisted the help. He didn't want to hear what nobody had to say. I had a friend who spoke with him. The friend, he didn't want to hear anything that my friend had to say. I tried to talk to him. He didn't want to hear what nobody had to say. He just wanted to do his own thing. And I say all of this to say that it's so dangerous because his faith and his hope was in what he believed. And he was willing to sacrifice himself for what he believed in. And now he has to pay the ultimate price because he left his children broken. And now he's in a place where I would not wish for even my worst enemy. We need to take this very serious, everyone, because we're dabbling with our life. We are alive now, so we need to make the right decisions. We need to stay away from the occultic world. These things eventually messes with our mental health, and we open up ourselves to real demonic things. We open up ourselves to the spirit of suicide, the spirit of death, the spirit of infirmity, the spirit of perversion and loss, the spirit of envy and jealousy, and all of these things we open ourselves to. He lived a life of poverty because he had a generational curse of poverty upon himself. My father was such a skillful man. He had so much talent, and all of it got wasted because he was so stubborn and he believed in what he believed in, and no one could change his mind. So I only share this sensitive topic with everyone so that you can understand how dangerous it is to dabble in the occultic world. Because my father was a victim of the occultic world. He believed in their lies, and he believed that what he was doing was the right thing, that he was just going to change this body and come back as someone younger. And now he has to deal with his consequences, and I have to deal with losing him. And I fought so hard for him. So hard. But this religion, it had a hold on him. And this is something he's been in his whole life. He was deep into it, extremely deep. And it completely destroyed him. So I pray that this video will be a warning. Don't be curious. Don't go and entertain the occultic world. Stay away from it, because my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So until next time, everyone, God bless.